There we go. I'm just going to share the slides. Okay, so today is study skills writing for academic purposes. So, Festina, you were on last week, weren't you? You were here last week. Okay, so this unit is all around understanding the use of academic referencing. So what the process is for referencing any people that you directly reference within your assignments. Okay, so understanding the use of academic referencing. So what is referencing? Why is it important? So we know that referencing is a really core part of academic writing because it shows where information came from. So it will allow the reader to check the accuracy and credibility of my work. At its simplest, referencing is a way of giving credit to other writers, researchers, and organisations whose ideas I have used in my work. It protects academic integrity. It'll support your arguments because you'll have evidence to show that you can engage with existing knowledge rather than presenting unsupported claims. So when you make claims to knowledge within your writing, you can demonstrate where it's come from, what the source is, which is really important to back up what you're saying. So one of the main reasons referencing is essential is to avoid plagiarism. So when we use someone else's ideas without acknowledging them, then effectively we're then claiming that them ideas are of our own, when in fact they've come from somebody else. Academic institutions treat this very seriously. So we have to reference properly. So we have to make it clear which parts of our work are drawn from different sources and which parts came from our own thinking. So this distinction keeps my work honest and maintains the standard expected in higher education. So it is really important, and we do take it very seriously at UK Versity. We do have AI detection, so we can see, if you just have taken someone's work and not referenced it. So it is really important to make sure you do reference other people's work. So referencing also strengthens my writing. When I refer to credible sources, such as academic journals, textbooks, bodies, or official websites, my arguments gain weight, so they're more credible. So any argument that you may be presenting, if you can back that up with valid information, it then makes it more credible. So it shows that you're basing your conclusions on evidence rather than just making a guess. So, for example, when writing about radiography, referencing the NHS, NCPC, or the Society of Radiographers makes my work more trustworthy. So these organisations carry authority. So citing them, referencing them, reinforces the validity of the points I make. That was a tongue twister. So does that make sense, Festina?
Yes, please.
Yeah, great, okay. Okay, so another important part of referencing is the consistency of your work. So most colleges and universities will ask students to use a specific system. So the Harvard referencing system, for example, that we showed last week. So each system has rules for citing the sources in the text and presenting the final reference list at the very end. The final page of the pages after your assignment, you'll have a reference list of all the different texts and sources for your information. So understanding which style that you need to use demonstrates attention to detail and professionalism. It also helps the reader navigate my sources easily. So, for example, if you were to do an assignment and you were to reference a particular theorist or a particular idea, if you reference it properly, the reader will then be able to go to your reference page behind the assignment, and they should be able to directly find that information from your reference. So clear referencing shows anyone reading my work how we locate the material, so that's a massive cornerstone of academic transparency. So referencing, another side of referencing is that it does support critical thinking. So when I look up sources to reference, I am forced to evaluate them, checking if they're credible, up-to-date and relevant. This process helps me build stronger conclusions because I'm basing them on solid evidence. So it will encourage us all to be able to question reliable or biased sources rather than accepting information at face value. In this way, referencing becomes part of the analytical process rather than a simple technical requirement. So, as I've said before, referencing, if you want to look at examples in text, examples of other students or other teachers' work, examples of work, you can read academic journals and get a sense of how people reference within their work. And then you'll be able to kind of hopefully understand how to do it and know what's right or wrong. Okay, so to conclude, finally, referencing allows me to engage with the wider academic community. It shows that I understand how knowledge is built through research, debate, and shared ideas. So my work can become part of that conversation, even at an early level. By referencing, I acknowledge the contribution of others while adding my own perspective. Okay, so the next few slides are quite wordy, but I'll try to shorten them down a little bit. So this is a case study of somebody that uses the referencing and how the Harvard referencing system. So when I prepare academic work, I use the Harvard referencing system because it is widely accepted and provides a clear, consistent way to acknowledge a range of sources. Using a standard referencing format helps me to show exactly where my information came from and allows a reader to verify the material if they want to explore it further. It also shows that I understand how to follow academic conventions and that I can work with different types of sources correctly. So in-text citations are the first part of the process. Whenever I refer to an author's idea, whether by quotation or paraphrasing, I include an in-text reference with the author's name, surname and publication year. For example, if I paraphrase information from the NHS Careers website about radiography roles, I write something like, so here's an example of how to reference. According to NHS Careers 2024, radiographers work in a range of clinical settings and support patient diagnosis through imaging techniques. So if I use direct quotation, I add a page number where available. So if that was a direct quote, you'd put the page number at the very end of that sentence, and then that will help you avoid plagiarising other people's work. So the second part of this reference list is at the end of my work. So, for example, in the previous paragraph, the information is taken from NHS Careers 2024. A separate page after your assignment would be a referencing list. So then you would give further information around where that information has come from. So it may be NHS Careers 2024. You'd actually put the details of the website that you obtained that information from. So the next bit obviously is your reference list. So this is a massive list at the end, and each source I use will follow the standard Harvard format. I make sure to include a range of sources such as websites, academic texts, professional organisations and government guidance. Using varied sources strengthens the credibility of my work and shows that I can draw information from different places rather than relying on single perspectives. So, for example, if you could take two opposing ideas that you had got from different areas. One could be from a textbook, one could be from an academic journal, and you could say, you know, and as an example, this person thinks this about radiography, where another theorist has a contrasting idea. So you can present different ideas and perspectives on a subject matter. So here is an example of a Harvard reference. So this is the correct way. This is the correct way you would write it all out. This is the format. So you have the names of the authors, the year, the title, who it was published by, and the area. And then if it's a website, obviously it looks a bit different. So you'll have the website address on there. Okay, so that is all. So if you want to have a look at any of these, we've got different websites on there, different textbooks, if you want to have a look at those, and you'll be able to get a bit more of a feel for how people reference, how different people in your area may reference. And also you can look on Moodle at the ebooks and journals for this unit, so it's a third unit. Any questions can go to learnerwork at ukversity.co.uk, and if you do have any questions, you can always call as well if you have anything that you're having problems with, and somebody will get back to you if they don't answer straight away. Festina, are you okay with all of that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you want me to have a look over the assignment? Have you had a look at the assignment?
Not yet. So you can look at it.
Yeah, I'll show you now. Okay, so can you see that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's 2,000 words, and the title for this is Writing for Academic Purposes. So you'll have to do a signature, your student's signature on there. And then this is the assignment brief, which is so, okay. So the assignment brief, so you are required to select an essay title that relates to an area of academic interest. The chosen title should provide scope for evaluation and analysis within your essay. So the first bit is to do a mind map of the themes and ideas for your academic essay. And using your essay plan, then you can write your response. So each of the questions on here should, so they see the AC 1.1 and then you've got AC 1.2. You need to show an example of how, for example, AC 1.1, I'll go to the, so there we go. So these are the learning outcomes. So when we assess work, any assignments that you've submitted, you want to make sure that you have demonstrated this, that you have met all of this criteria. So that particular question talks about area 1.1. So within that, you would make sure that you explore themes and ideas initiated by an essay title. So what are the techniques that we use to discuss an essay title? So these really help because they break it down and it shows clearly what is being asked for each question, what it wants you to do. So back to the assignment brief. So use your essay plan to write your response. So you'd do a plan for an essay and then you would actually do your response. So this is just for you to get used to how you plan and structure your response to an assignment. So it will help you to break it down and understand the foundations of responding to an essay question. So the next bit is write a short report to accompany your academic essay. evaluating the source material you have used. So this is broken down.
Before you go on, can you cite an example, please?
An example.
Yeah.
So an example of an essay title.
Yeah. I-
Well, it would be
Well, like,
something, yeah, it'd be something I imagine. Obviously, radiography isn't my subject area, but I imagine that you would have to do a bit of research to look for any kind of questions around radiography. It can be anything really. It's more to demonstrate that you understand how to um, respond to a question. So I can, after here, look for some examples. I don't know much about radiography, you see, so I wouldn't want to give you the misinformation. But if you do have any specific, I think anything around an essay, any questions around this, if you email into UK Versity the email address, is that okay? And somebody will be able to help you with that.
okay.
Um,
I'm thinking they have given some essay titles here. So from research to
mhm.
reference to, it says the importance of research. Why sourcing?
Say again, sorry.
Okay. It said essay title.
Hmm.
From where you are
Hmm.
down, where you have the essay title. From research.
Yeah, so
Reference evaluates how good academic writing demonstrates clinical thinking, including content on the importance of research.
okay, so that's
Why sourcing original peer-reviewed content
hmm.
is required.
Hmm.
Why referencing is used.
Hmm.
The essential role of all of the above to facilitate critical thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what, can you please? Okay, after everything, you threw a little bit light on that for me.
Okay, so I think I'm just going to scroll down. So that must connect to this bit here. So I think that's an example. So that's an essay title.
Okay,
So that's
so
an.
I can choose from that.
I think so. Yeah, that should be okay. Yeah. But what I will do for Stina, I'm going to go away after here and then just double check around this because it's not very clear.
The
So.
last one is not very clear, but
Mm,
the three, because I was during the orientation, I was told in
mhm.
all my work I'll be given a question. Oh, some sorry,
It's okay.
sorry,
It's okay.
series of questions to choose from.
Hmm. Um,
So I'm
I think maybe use this. This is an example of an essay title, so I think maybe use this, or if you prefer another essay title, so long as you make sure that you meet these of the criteria, that you answer these criterias, then you should be okay. So for each, so the mind map there, within that, your response needs to make sure that it answers the criteria 1.1 and 1.2.
okay.
But let me go back and ask about this because it's not very clear. Is that okay?
Okay. So are we meeting tomorrow?
We're meeting tomorrow, yeah. So I might not have a response back on this by tomorrow, um, but I definitely will by next week, just to make sure, because it is about all about understanding the question, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's unclear because it says you are required to select an essay title, so it's not clear whether it's talking about this one here at the bottom. So I'll look into that. Is that okay?
Okay.
But do you understand? I'll just stop the recording there.
All right.
Stop the recording, it'll be a sec.